What is happening? How's it going? It's the day after Christmas, for me at least. Probably not for you guys, because it's gonna be a while before I get this video done. But Merry Christmas! Hope you got everything you wanted. I'm in my truck, about to pull around to my trailer. I gotta unload one of my Cadillac frames. Went down to my mom's and got it a couple weeks ago, and now I need my trailer to go get another little something. So believe it or not, the frame that I got here is a partially wrapped frame from bumper to bumper. The belly's wrapped, it's got a bridge. I tried giving this thing away when I moved from Florida. I literally put up on Facebook, free frame. You know, put pictures, so come and get it. No strings attached. Only thing is I'm not shipping it. You know, you don't have to pay for it, but you do have to come get it. Couldn't give the thing away. It's insane. But I kept it, drug it along with me the last few times I moved. So I'll probably end up doing it was supposed to just be a partial wrap, but I'll probably end up completely wrapping it. Maybe put it under my Fleetwood, maybe sell it, do something with it, I don't know. But today we need to get this off the trailer and the rear end off the trailer, and I'm getting the trailer, everything staged to be able to leave tomorrow morning. I'm gonna go down to Florida, go get a little vehicle I've been wanting to work on for a little while, but now the time has come to work on it. So we'll pick it back up tomorrow. So I gotta get my frame off the trailer. You can't really see it by there because it's a toolbox, but it's back there. So I gotta get it off by myself. It's a little on the heavy side. I can't load it by myself. I've drug it off the trailer numerous times, but what happens every time I drag it off is the lower trailing arms for the rear end hit the edge of my frame on my trailer and bend it all up. Then I gotta hammer it back down. So today I'm gonna try something a little bit different, hopefully a little bit easier. About to test the structural integrity of this carport I got before I put the roof on it. So I'm gonna kind of hang some ratchet straps from the carport to the frame, lift it up. I don't have to go high, just a couple inches off the trailer so I can pull the trailer out. So we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully good. All right, next day, we are trying to get ready to go. I gotta get the Meowie to go potty though. She's not wanting to go, and I don't want to leave the house without her going potty. She's gonna go in the house. We were gonna leave earlier, but I gotta stop at Harbor Freight because I forgot to get the come along. So I had to wait till they open up. But about 7:30, we're about to start rolling. Let's get this show on the road, literally. So by now, if you're wondering where we're going, what we're getting, I'm not going to be like everybody else and wait until we get there to tell you. I'll go ahead and tell you now. watched the channel for a long time, you may have noticed I used to not have a tattoo on my left arm, and then all of a sudden I did have a tattoo on my left arm. Well, reason being is because almost 3 years ago, my best friend passed away, and me and him built a Nova together. He's had a Nova ever since I met him. That's kind of literally how I met him. My brother used to have a hot rod, and he had a hot rod, so we kind of become friends with that. But we always worked on cars together, and I had my Oldsmobile, which is a lowrider, and he had the Nova, which is a hot rod. It's kind of weird we were both friends, but mainly it's because my brother had a hot rod, and I've always liked hot rods and muscle cars. But needless to say, he passed away, and his car has been sitting ever since. His dad and his brother, they're going to work on it and get it driving again. With COVID and Hurricane Michael and all that, they really haven't had time, kind of trying to recoup from everything that was destroyed down there, and have life and Christmas and all that in the works. So we're going to go pick it up, and I'm going to try and get it running. That way his dad and his brother can drive it, enjoy it. More likely, the speed that I work on stuff, it'll probably be ready by the time his daughter's ready to drive, which is a long time from now. But we're going to try and do our best to get it up and running as soon as I can. It's been sitting, really it's been probably sitting for close to 5 years now, because he got it up and running, and then he kind of took a break from it. He was working on, he bought his wife a Nova, so he was working on it, kind of robbing parts off of it to put on his wife's Nova. But it's pretty much a complete car. I want to say everything on the motor is there. It did run. I'm not going to try and start it today. I'm going to just load it on the trailer. I'm going to get it home, put some fresh oil in it, pull a distributor, prime some oil, and then try and start it. I want to do a dry start on it. But that is where we are at. It's a, I think that one's a 78 Nova. His original one was a 77. They had in high school. But this one's a 78, I'm pretty sure. But it's kind of a legend behind the car. We always call it the 454 Nova. Because when we were growing up, before he had that obviously, a guy named Sam used to own it. And it was kind of the local, kind of famous local car. It had a 454 in it. It was, one of the baddest cars around on the streets. We got to meet the dude because obviously Chad had a Nova also. So we met up with him, talked to him. He was a pretty cool guy. This is a really cool car. Every time we seen it, he had something different done to it, more and more horsepower. And we were at a performance shop one day, seen a poster stuck up on the wall. It had that Nova doing a wheelie. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Well, the time come where that car was available to buy. Actually, before that, well, we kind of heard about it through the grapevine. It came a time where the car was available to buy. But this is when we were like, maybe 19, 20, somewhere around there, maybe a little younger. So getting it kind of wasn't really an option. We didn't really have a whole lot of funds to do that. But weird enough, Chad's landlord had bought it. And it was kind of like a slap in the face. He had money to play with, obviously. But he had got it, done a bunch of work to it, and it was way slower than what it was when the previous guy had it. So I think it's kind of a bummer. A couple years go by, and he finds it again. It really didn't go far out of town. It kind of stayed in town, but everyone that bought it never really did anything with it, so it kind of just sat. But we found it at a repair shop. Had no motor, no transmission. Did have the rear end that it originally had in it. So he got it for a pretty good price. I don't remember what it was. I know it was cheap. He would wheel and deal. He'd look at a car just for fun. They didn't even want to buy it. He talked people down like $3 grand, and then wouldn't even buy it. But he got a good deal on it. There's a Nova right there. And got it. And Christmas Day, we always had a knack for doing stuff on Christmas Day. We didn't really hang out with our families and all that. We kind of just hang out and party. So Christmas Day, me and him put a big block in there, 454. because that's what the car is. It's a 454 Nova. So you had to have a 454 in it. So we put it in there, got it fired up. Didn't hook the torque converter up. We shoved the motor in there and busted it off. That was cool. Kind of left it as is. And then you tinker with it here and there. And then it kind of sat for a really, really long time. They got another house. They moved. And it sat for a while. And we kind of both got back into building our cars. I was working on the Oldsmobile at the time. And both of our cars were kind of in the same stages, I guess. His needed a few things. Needed a drive shaft, brake line that I broke, fuel line, and something else that was simple. My Oldsmobile had the whole front suspension pulled off, a motor that needed to be put in it, the front clip was off, swapped out rear ends, it had no brakes whatsoever, and I had to paint the frame. So we kind of had a little rivalry to see who was going to get their cars on the road first. I'd get, put the motor in. I was like, hey, dude, I got the motor in. What you lacking? He was like, well, so I got to do a dry shaft, brake line, fuel line, whatever the other thing was. All right, cool. Next week, go by, like, hey, dude, swapped out the rear end, got brakes going. I'm almost ready to drive it. What you got left? I still got to do dry shaft, brake lines, fuel lines, the same thing as the week before. So it come down to where I fired my Oldsmobile up and drove it around the block, and his Nova was still in the exact same spot. So I went out to his house. He had all the parts. And I went out to his house, and we threw all the stuff in one day, fired it up and got ready to drive it. Put it in gear, drove forward. He had it on a little concrete block. Drove it forward, and he was heading towards the gate, and he couldn't line up with the gate. And I was like, you need to turn, And he just stopped the car. And he gets out and he's like, the steering wheel's locked up. I'm like, oh man, all this work, we can't even drive the thing. So he's like, I've had it happen to me before. He didn't have a power steering pump hooked up. So he just poured some transmission fluid in the gearbox, rocked it back and forth, and started working again. So we took it for our maiden voyage, cruised it down the road a little bit. We didn't really get on it because it was still fairly a new motor. It sat for a long time. He would turn it over. But so we drive down this road, a little short back road. We're coming back, we heard and he's like, what is that? And I was like, I think it's a header hitting the floorboard. I want to say we had open headers at the time. He sticks the head out the window, front wheel's just wobbling away. He's like, oh yeah, I forgot I only had 2 lug nuts on there. I stole the other ones for the other Nova. So we limp it back to the house. Luckily we're only like maybe 100 feet away from the house. So tightened up the lug nut, but that could have been a lot worse than what it was. But after that, the car kind of sat. I think he painted it. He did. No, he had it painted before. He had done a Rust-Oleum paint job on it, painted it black, which actually turned out pretty good. But then the car kind of sat, and it's pretty much sat there ever since. So when we see it, you'll see how long it's been sitting. I think they might have it uncovered. I don't know. Talked to his mom and told them that I wanted to get it running for him. She said, come on with it. So that is what we're doing now. And about an hour and a half, we will be there, hopefully. So we'll get back to you then. Alrighty, we're almost there. Looks like they got a fence since last time I was down here. There she is. Looks exact same as last time I seen it. Let's see how much of a nightmare this is gonna be to load up. It's gonna be fun getting it through the fence. I did not anticipate that. So here we are. We made it. There's the Nova. About sitting the same as it was. This is Chad's mom, Deb. His sister, Heather. And his dad, Junior. And we're gonna uncover it and see what it's looking like after all this time. Dun, dun, dun. It was beyond repair. Had to drive all over town to get one, wait a long time, and now we're back. We're running out of daylight. We're trying to drag it out of the yard and hopefully get on the trailer and hopefully everything goes smooth.
I gotta push it real good.
Ready?
Something ain't moving. Yeah.
Alright, she may still be in park. Good old ratchet shifter. I don't remember how to ratchet it.
Oh, he's a chef, huh?
So it's the next day. Much later the next day. It's probably like noon, maybe even 1. We made it home. The loading process did not go anything like I intended, of course. Yeah, it was a nightmare and a half. I tried to film it, but we were running out of time. I was ready to get home. It was getting late. It was already dark. We caught some big time troubles. Had to go get a new tire. Put it on. Luckily, Chad only had 3 lug nuts on there, so it's easy to take off, easy to put back on. Couldn't get the thing in neutral. Messed around. It has got a ratchet shifter in it. Couldn't remember how to work that thing. YouTubed how to work it. Got it going, but the shifter cable was broke, so I had to crawl under it. Wasn't much room in the dirt. Got it neutral after tugging on it for about 20 minutes with the truck and trying to push it before that. But we got it neutral, got it rolled out to the road, and that was just like the start of our problems. I bought a come along to pull it on the trailer. It got to where the tires were just coming up the ramp, and that was all it had. So I had to have his whole family and all of us pushing while the come along was being pulled. Then we got about 3/4 of the way up, and it just stopped. It was going good, just come to a halt. Like, what is it hitting now? Walk back by the back wheels, the traction bars are hitting the trailer. So I had to have Chad's mom operate the come along while all the rest of us picked up on the bumper to be able to lift it up high enough to clear the traction bars. So that was fun. But we got it. It hauled really good, actually. Once I got it all strapped down, we rode out of there, cruised home. Couldn't even tell it was back there. It was pretty nice. I got home probably about 11, 12-ish last night. I was pretty well tired. I was done. I've been up since like 3 that morning, the morning before. Kind of waiting, anticipating. But it's here. We're about to try and get it off the trailer. I'm going to put it where I store the Cadillac in a little carport. I figured it'd be easier to have it on concrete, working on it. It sits so low with that big motor. So I'm going to be able to jack it up, get under there, kind of dig around with what I got to do. I think it's got a starter on it. I know he's having problems with shearing the nose cone of the starter off. I think he got it figured out as a timing issue. But definitely needs an oil change. I don't remember the last time I had oil in it. So gonna put fresh oil in it. Looks like the spark plugs are missing. Really didn't look too much under the hood yesterday. This is just kind of looking through the wheel wells. But the hood assembly, all of it's gone. He had a 4-inch Cal induction hood scoop on there, and we put that on his wife's car. So that was the hood off of his wife's car. But the hinges aren't hooked up. The latch assembly is off the car. I think he used that on his wife's car too. But there's tons of parts in the car. There's tons of parts down there at his house. This is gonna be another trip down there just getting parts alone. But I'm gonna pull this over in the other driveway, fight with trying to back it in there because I'm not an expert trailer backer. I can back it in a big area, but trying to nail a driveway, or this ought to be interesting. But you can get it over there, unload it. Hopefully it's got brakes. I can just roll it off the trailer. That would make my life easy. Because, man, it destroyed my back yesterday loading it up on the trailer. So we'll get to that, and hopefully it'll go good. So unloading the car was a nightmare. Pretty much just as bad as loading the car up. I jacked the trailer up with the jack that you used to pull it off the truck. Put a block in there, lift it up, try and tilt the trailer back, kind of hoping it would roll off. I thought to myself, it'd be sweet if I could just angle the trailer, hop in the car, push the brakes, back it off, just use the brakes to stop it. Well, looked in the car before I pulled all the parts out and kind of tried to assess the damage before I pulled all the parts out. And I seen the brake pedal is laying on the floorboard all the way down. So I was like, that's not a good start. Look through the headlight, that's not there. Looked up where the master cylinder is, it's off. So the car has no brakes. So started phase 1 of my problem. Hooked the come along back up, start lowering it down. Actually goes pretty smoothly. Just, you know, one click at a time. Got about halfway point where the car is off the trailer. Then the exhaust hits. So I run into a problem there. But before I knew the exhaust hit, you know, I gathered everybody over here, had my wife and the nephews up here. We were all pushing on it, and it was like it hit a brick wall. It was not moving. And that's when I looked under there and I seen the exhaust right after the headers was hitting the edge of the trailer. And had to fix that. Had to pull it up with a pry bar, get it over that. Then I couldn't get the thing to move. It was at the halfway point, so there's no tilt from the trailer. You know, so we just had to push. It was heavy. The tires are about flat. Like I said, I don't really want to put air in them because they're so dry rotted. But we pushed, and then we got it all the way to the end and got it off. But yeah, it was a nightmare. Alright, are you ready? Full send, here we go. Beautiful.
Am I the only one that stayed with it? Y'all two let go, and then me and Chris was like, wait!
That's how I come down.
I used this as a step.
Good job. Getting the inside cleaned out a little bit. I should have took it before. This thing was literally packed to the ceiling with parts. And just odds and ends. It has seats. The seats were in it. They were just covered in parts. But yeah, a lot of miscellaneous stuff. A few tools. This is kind of Chad's toolbox as well. It has a part storage area. The trunk's full of parts. I'm just trying to get this kind of cleaned up to figure out what I got and what I had to work with. The trunk was no exception. This could actually lock, so you got a lot of stuff in here. Keep it safe from walking off. Get it all cleaned out and kind of take an inventory of what I got. There's the belly of the beast. Sad, the last time I seen that, it was all brand new. It'll be a good bit of work getting started again. Most of the parts are there. I got a good bit of stuff I had in the car. First thing, pull the distributor, drain the oil, put some fresh oil in there. Find the oil pump. See if I can spin it over. Get some plug wires for it. Once again, we come to the end of another video. I made a little bit of progress on this thing today. Next time, we're going to see about getting the motor turned over. I got to order some spark plug wires for it, probably get new plugs. I'd probably change the oil. Well, I'm definitely going to change the oil, but I'll probably do that here in the next day or so. Put some fresh oil in there. Did find an oil priming tool in the trunk, which is very helpful because now I don't have to get one. So I'm going to pop the distributor out, prime the oil up, probably turn it over by hand a few times, pull the plugs out, turn it over by hand, just make sure everything's good. I did check the oil. It is surprisingly clean. It looks brand new, but it's been sitting there for a very, very long time, so I'm going to dump it out, put some fresh stuff in there, and go from there. But until then, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button. There's going to be a few more videos on this car, obviously, probably quite a few. So if you like hot rods, that's good. I don't normally do lowriders. Don't fear, I do still have lowrider videos coming. Working on my Fleetwood right now. Doing a long arms on it. Just kind of been doing trial and error. It's not really anything worth recording. Literally just cut the arms in half and stuck some square tubing in them to get some rough measurements. I got some parts ordered that I'm waiting on to make adjustable arms. So that's kind of on hold. So I'm going to mess with the Nova in the meantime. But other than that, thanks for watching again. We'll see you on the next go around. What seems to be the problem? Good shot. Got away free. It lives to die another day.